The bell rings for lunch. Tray slide down the line: chicken nuggets, chocolate milk, pizza pockets. Bright packaging, loud colors, and that unmistakable scent of something cooked in a factory, not a kitchen. For millions of California students, this scene plays out every day. But in less than a decade, it could disappear. Because California just did something no other U.S. state has dared. It's taking on ultra-processed food. Assembly Bill 1264 isn't just another nutrition guideline, it's the start of a food revolution. The law makes California the first state to phase out ultra-processed foods from public school meals. Nutritionists are calling it historic. Critics are calling it overreach. But everyone agrees it's going to change what lands on a child's plate. The law begins with a simple question: what are we really feeding our kids? Before this, junk food was a feeling, not a fact. Everyone knew it was bad, but nobody could define why. AB 1264 changes that. It orders the state's Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment to define ultra-processed foods based on the level of industrial alteration: high sugar, high sodium, saturated fats, and chemical additives like artificial colors, flavors, emulsifiers, and sweeteners. Ingredients made not for nourishment, but for shelf life and addiction. Think prepackaged muffins, rainbow yogurts, fruit snacks shaped like cartoon bears, or even those healthy granola bars that read more like chemistry experiments than recipes. Once the definition is set, the state will label a new category: particularly harmful ultra-processed foods. Those are the first to vanish from school cafeterias. It's a shift that treats food processing as a public health threat, not just a lifestyle choice. For millions of children, the cafeteria isn't just a lunchroom, it's the kitchen. Every year, California's public schools serve over 1 billion meals. For many low-income families, that's the only hot meal their child eats that day. When that food is ultra-processed, it becomes a silent saboteur: high in calories, low in nutrients, loaded with sugar and salt that dull focus and spike fatigue. Studies show that children on high-processed diets struggle more with attention, behavior, and learning. Blood sugar rises, then crashes. Energy surges, then fades. Teachers see it every afternoon, but it's written into the menu long before class begins. AB 1264 is California's answer. Stop feeding kids foods that undermine learning and health. But this isn't a one-day ban. It's a decade-long phase-out designed to rebuild the system from scratch. By July 1st, 2026, the state defines what counts as particularly harmful. By January 1st, 2028, schools begin the phase-out. By 2032, vendors can't supply those foods to schools. By 2035, they're gone completely, a slow burn, but a permanent one. Cafeterias will need new recipes, new suppliers, new kitchen training. Food companies will have to reformulate entire product lines or lose contracts with one of the largest food networks in the country. And the science is hard to argue with. A 2024 NIH study found that people who eat mostly ultra-processed foods consume 500 more calories a day than those who don't, without even realizing it. A BMJ review linked high consumption of these foods to 32 diseases, including obesity, heart disease, cancer, and depression. The reason lies deep in biology. Our brains are wired to crave combinations of fat, sugar, and salt. When companies engineer food to hit those pleasure points perfectly, moderation becomes almost impossible. Kids are even more vulnerable. Their neural-reward systems are still forming. When exposed early to hyperpalatable foods, they grow accustomed to artificial highs and lose interest in natural flavors. Whole fruit can't compete with the dopamine rush of flavored gummies. So this law isn't banning treats. It is trying to break a biochemical loop that keeps children hooked. Not everyone sees it that way. Food manufacturers call the measure too broad. They argue processing isn't the enemy, it can make food safer and cheaper. Industry lobbyists warn that smaller school districts may struggle to afford the transition. And some critics frame the law as government intrusion into personal choice. But supporters counter with a reality check. Kids don't choose what is on the cafeteria tray, adults do. When childhood obesity and type 2 diabetes rates climb year after year, doing nothing costs far more than reform ever will. California's policies have a history of rewriting national standards. Seat belts, clean air, plastic bag bans, they all started here. Now states like New York, Minnesota, and Maryland are already studying California's model. If even one follows through, it could create a domino effect across America. Because when a state as massive as California says no to certain ingredients, companies listen. Reformulating for one state is expensive. Reformulating for the nation becomes efficient. That's how change spreads. It's easy to see ultra-processed foods as convenient solutions, cheap, fast, stable. But cheap now often means costly later. Obesity-related illness costs the U.S. over $170 billion a year. According to the CDC, children diagnosed with type 2 diabetes face double the lifetime healthcare costs of their peers. So when critics say California can't afford this shift, public health experts respond, we can't afford not to. This law reframes school lunch as an investment, not an expense, one that pays dividends in concentration, attendance, and lifelong well-being. Imagine it. Roasted chicken replacing fried nuggets, bright fruit cups swapped for real strawberries, whole grain bread from local bakeries, milk without synthetic flavoring. It's not a fantasy, it's a food policy blueprint. Districts will have freedom to adapt. They can work with local farms, use federal farm-to-school grants, and modernize kitchens for scratch cooking. Non-profits like the Center for Science and the Public Interest are already preparing menu templates and procurement guides to help schools shift gradually. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. And it speaks to a deeper cultural question. If we wouldn't to feed our own families meals full of chemical dyes and fillers, why are we comfortable serving them to other people's children? Parents have long fought for transparency, calories, allergens, ingredients. But AB 1264 raises the bar from information to integrity. It's not just about knowing what's in the food, it's about trusting it. That trust could ripple beyond schools. Families might start cooking more, reading labels, and rethinking what kids' food should look like. California isn't acting alone on the world stage. France and Brazil already have national policies discouraging ultra-processed foods in schools. The World Health Organization warns that UPFs make up more than 60% of daily calories in many developed nations. California isn't leading a fad, it's catching up to a global health movement. And if the state shows measurable results in obesity rates, focus levels, and academic performance, it could set a new global benchmark. Because food isn't just personal, it's political. If you believe food policy should protect kids, not corporations, hit like, subscribe, and share this video with parents, teachers, and anyone who cares what's on the next generation's plate. Because the revolution isn't just happening in the kitchen, it's happening in the cafeteria.